From the dead body of an unknown creature on Earth, a deadly virus was born, one that slowly began wiping out anyone who dared to step outside their home. The world had nearly collapsed, and only one last safe place remained where survivors longed to hide. The story begins in a future where everything has been destroyed, an aftermath of the same mysterious virus that took more than half of humanity's lives. Medical science had failed to find any cure, and the infection spread most rapidly in cities. Anyone who stepped outside would soon be infected, and without proper treatment, they died in unbearable agony. Once thriving, wealthy cities had turned into ghost towns. Governments had fallen, trade had stopped completely, and chaos ruled the land. Yet, a few people had found refuge deep within forested regions, areas untouched by the virus. There, we meet a girl named Anna, who lives with her brother David and their mother. Anna's mother was gravely ill, and Anna, along with David, took care of her every day. Their father had also once lived with them, but years ago, he too fell terminally ill. His suffering had grown so unbearable that he begged for death, and in desperation, Anna's mother had ended his life to free him from pain and bring him peace. Many years had passed since that tragic day, back when Anna and David were still children. Now they were old enough to take on the responsibilities of their home. Being the elder sibling, Anna had to look after everything, caring for her mother and venturing into nearby towns to find food and supplies despite the dangers. Born and raised in the forest, neither Anna nor David knew much about city life. They only risked entering abandoned areas to scavenge for essentials. One day, Anna comforted her mother, assuring her that she would get better. Her mother wasn't infected by the virus, it was a genetic spinal condition that made walking painful and difficult. To help her, Anna and David decided to travel to a nearby abandoned town to find medicine and painkillers. They entered an old, deserted shop filled with dusty bottles and boxes of medicine. But Anna's hope quickly turned to anger. The medicines were long expired, useless after years of neglect. She grew tense, fearing she'd return home empty-handed and her mother would suffer until her last breath. Pushing away dark thoughts, Anna tried to stay strong, but suddenly, she heard strange noises coming from inside the store. David was waiting outside, yet someone, or something, was definitely moving around in there with her. Her heart raced. Someone was watching them. Panicked, Anna rushed out, grabbed her brother, and they fled toward the forest. Within minutes, they reached the woods, where Anna breathlessly told David that someone had been inside the store, a man dressed in black, armed with a sharp weapon, and possibly following them to kill them. David's face turned pale as he realized the danger. They hurried toward home, but in the chaos, David fell and injured his leg badly. It was broken, and he could no longer walk properly. As a caring sister, Anna tried to help him up, but the dark figure was closing in fast, moving through the trees toward them. David told Anna to run, to go home and take care of their mother. "If we both stay," he said, "we'll die here." Anna knew he was right, but how could she leave her brother to die? Torn and trembling, she finally agreed after he pleaded repeatedly. Gathering the supplies from him, Anna ran back through the forest, her heart aching, toward her home, where her ailing mother still waited, unaware of the horror closing in. David, trying to save his life, hid behind a tree, hoping the strange man wouldn't see him. But it seemed that the dangerous figure already knew his location. The man approached, and then a loud sound echoed through the forest. What exactly happened to David remained a mystery. A while later, Anna returned home, where her mother was waiting anxiously. When she didn't see David, she immediately asked where he had gone. Anna calmly replied that David had found some supplies and would be back before evening. Her mother, however, sensed something was wrong. She could feel her daughter was hiding the truth. Trying to change the topic, Anna started describing how empty and lifeless the nearby town had become, how not a single person was left alive. While talking, Anna showed her mother a photograph of a beach by the ocean. Having lived their entire lives in the forest, neither Anna nor David had ever seen such a place. Anna loved beaches. It had always been her dream to one day visit one and see the sea for herself. Smiling softly, her mother told her to have faith in God, that when one door closes, He always opens another. Then, with motherly warmth, she reminded Anna that she was now old enough to find a companion, someone who could stand by her in both sorrow and joy. Her words carried a hidden message. She wanted Anna to find love. But it wasn't even certain if anyone else was still alive on Earth. Later, Anna pinned the photograph to the wall and decided to return to the spot where she had left David. But when she reached the area, he was nowhere to be seen. No trace of him remained, only his locket lay in the dirt beside a fallen branch. Anna picked it up, her heart sinking. Guilt consumed her as she realized David was probably dead. Overwhelmed with emotion, she returned home in tears. Night fell, and still, David didn't return. Her mother grew restless, asking where her son was. Anna stayed silent and went to bed, unable to speak the truth. Her mother couldn't sleep that night. She got up quietly and walked out into the darkness. The next morning, when Anna woke and didn't find her mother in bed, she grabbed her gun for protection and went searching. She finally found her sitting still nearby, but when Anna called out, there was no response. Her mother was gone, dead, likely from her illness. Anna had known this day would come without proper medication, yet the pain hit her like a storm. Her entire family was gone now, first her father, then her brother, and now her mother. Following all the burial rituals she remembered, Anna laid her mother to rest. She was completely alone in the world, but she refused to give up. Keeping herself occupied, she worked tirelessly, using the metalworking skills her father had once taught her to craft weapons and tools from iron. That's how she survived, day after day. One afternoon, while fetching water, Anna suddenly froze. A man was standing in front of her, pointing a gun. Instinctively, she ran back into her house, grabbed her own gun, and aimed it at him. The stranger introduced himself as Peter. He claimed he meant no harm, that he was just another survivor, wandering in search of resources. Anna didn't believe him and ordered him to drop his weapon. Peter obeyed, raising his hands to show he wasn't a threat. After a few tense minutes, Anna slowly lowered her guard and allowed him to come inside. They sat at the table together, and she even offered him some food and supplies. But Anna carefully hid the fact that she was alone. She pretended her family members were still alive and out hunting, expecting them to return soon. She had been raised never to trust strangers. Peter, however, was clever. He could tell that Anna was lying. She was alone in that place and very frightened, so she was making up stories. To make Anna more comfortable, Peter began to tell her about himself, how he had once lived with his family, but when the virus spread his mother and father were infected and no one could save them, they died, and since then Peter had been completely alone. After hearing this, Anna opened up about her own past, how her father had been infected, how her mother had killed him to end his suffering, and how recently both her brother and her mother had died. Hearing this, Peter comforted her, assuring her that things would get better. Then he told Anna about a community far from the forest where many people had formed tribes and lived for years. There the virus had never appeared and supposedly could not reach, so he invited her to come live with them. Anna was skeptical. She wondered what they really wanted from her, but Peter said plainly that no one could survive entirely alone, that solitude was dangerous and increased the chances of being attacked, and that he only wanted to keep her safe. Still, Anna could not abandon the sacred home of her parents. So many memories were tied to that house, and it kept her close to her family's past. In the end, she declined the offer. She would remain and eke out a living alone. The next morning Peter prepared to leave. Anna accompanied him to the graves of her family and they prayed for their souls. Before he left, Peter told her he would be staying near the Palsy River while searching for water, and if she changed her mind she should come there by evening, after which they would head for the hidden community together. Peter left, and Anna was alone again, sitting for a long time thinking whether it was right to live alone. Her mother's words kept coming back to her. She wanted Anna to form relationships or at least live among others. Truly, no human was meant to be alone forever. After much thought, Anna finally decided to go with Peter. When she reached the river and saw him waiting, he was relieved and happy. Anna was ready to leave with him for the community. They filled their water supplies and set out for the hidden place, talking a lot along the way. Anna seemed to grow comfortable with Peter. They neared the community but still had to cross a mountain, and when they reached the summit they heard footsteps and people running. Peter pulled Anna down because a dangerous group was approaching, people known as the cannibals, so they hid behind logs to avoid being seen. The cannibals attacked other humans and ate them. After the apocalypse, as resources ran out, some people turned on others to survive, and when a normal person appeared, these cannibals would attack and kill them completely. The problem was, if you were trapped in such a situation with savage cannibals ready to strike, how could you escape? It was terrifying because the cannibals became active whenever they spotted other people and would stop at nothing to finish their prey. Survival experts say keep as much distance as possible from such groups. If you're hiding with your group you must move away quietly and without noise. Remember, those cannibals and tribe members are extremely cunning. They rely on the surrounding trees, plants, and the ground to track their prey, by following footprints or noticing how plants are broken in a certain direction, revealing which way someone ran. That's exactly how those cannibals track people. And if they appear in front of you while you're trying to escape, don't turn around. Don't panic. Just keep moving backward slowly. If you have anything flammable, like a torch or a lighter, use it to scare them. If there's no way to run, start making loud noises and spread your arms to look bigger. It might make them think you're more dangerous than you actually are. Still, there's very little chance they'll let you go. The only option left is to pick up a weapon and fight back if they come close. Remember, cannibals usually move in groups, so instead of getting surrounded, your best bet is to attack the one in front and run for your life. Anna and Peter were lucky this time. The cannibals didn't notice them. But the forest had far worse dangers waiting ahead, things they had never even imagined. As they continued their journey toward the community area, Peter's foot suddenly got caught in a deadly trap meant for animals. Its sharp spikes tore deep into his leg. Anna managed to free him, but his injury was severe, and walking became impossible. With no other choice, they decided to spend the night in that dangerous forest. Anna tended to Peter as best as she could. During their conversation, she asked what kind of work he did in his tribe. Peter explained that he was a religious priest who traveled around searching for people willing to join their community because their numbers were dwindling, and without new members, they would eventually vanish. That's why he believed it was vital to find faithful people, and that's also why he wanted Anna to come with them. She understood his intentions weren't wrong. Preserving human civilization and expanding their community was necessary for survival. The next morning, when Peter felt slightly better, they resumed their journey. Not far ahead, they saw a tent with an old man sitting in front of it. Anna suggested asking him for help, but Peter felt uneasy. It seemed like a trap. He insisted they stay away, fearing danger, but Anna's compassion got the better of her. Ignoring Peter's warning, she waved at the old man, who silently gestured for them to come closer. As they approached the tent, Peter's instincts proved right. It was a trap. The old man's son appeared from behind with a sniper aimed directly at them. Peter raised his gun too, but he couldn't risk Anna's life. Forced to surrender, they were taken inside. The old man demanded to know who they were. When Peter revealed he was from the religious community and worked as a priest, the old man's expression darkened. He angrily confessed that he once worked for that same group, but they were ruthless people who had stolen all their resources and cast him out. Seeking revenge, he told Peter that he would only let him live if he left Anna behind. Peter refused immediately, but Anna stepped in, agreeing to stay only if Peter was allowed to leave unharmed. Just as the deal was being made, Peter seized an opening and attacked. In a swift, brutal move, he killed both the old man and his son. Anna was terrified. This was a side of Peter she had never seen before. From the very beginning, he had seemed calm and kind, but now she saw something much darker within him. Peter yelled at Anna, furious that she had ignored his warning and approached that old man despite the danger. Their lives had barely been spared, and he reminded her that if he hadn't acted quickly, both of them would be dead. Anna was deeply hurt by his harsh words and cold behavior. That night, as they stayed near the tented area, Peter began to feel guilty. He realized his anger had come from fear, not hatred, and he tried to apologize to Anna, but she wasn't ready to forgive him just yet. The next day, after hours of travel, they finally reached the hidden settlement. It was surrounded by high wooden barriers, built to keep strangers out. There was only one heavily guarded entrance. Since Anna wasn't from their group, the guards pointed their guns at her. Peter quickly explained that she was with him and meant no harm, convincing them to lower their weapons. Soon, a woman named Jody ran up and hugged Peter. Everyone seemed happy to see him return with another survivor who could strengthen their community. The guards took away Anna's weapons for safety before allowing her inside. The community was led by two people, Jack and Jody, and both welcomed Peter warmly. At first, Anna felt uneasy, but slowly she started to feel more comfortable. Despite Peter's roughness, she began to trust him again. Jack told Peter they had captured a cannibal who had tried to sneak into their area. The creature was locked up, and they hadn't yet decided whether to execute or spare him. Curious, Peter went to see him, and Anna joined. It was her first time seeing a cannibal up close. The man sat behind the bars, whistling a strange tune. The sound felt hauntingly familiar. It was the same whistle Anna had heard when she and her brother were being hunted. Jack explained that the captive hadn't spoken a word since his capture. He only kept whistling that same eerie melody. A chill ran through Anna. She was almost certain this was the one who had killed her brother. But without proof, she kept the suspicion to herself. When asked about Anna, Peter told the group that she had been alone and was now bonded with him, meaning she would stay by his side. Based on his word, the leaders granted Anna permission to remain in the community as one of them. Still, she couldn't understand why Peter had said she was bonded to him. When she asked, he simply replied that it was part of their ritual. Every new member had to form a connection with someone inside. Later, Peter met with a man named Ben, who handled the community's security. Peter mentioned that a decision would be made the next day about the cannibal's fate. Ben disagreed with killing him, warning that it could provoke retaliation from the cannibal tribe. But Peter insisted that whatever the community decided would be final. Meanwhile, Jody visited Anna, asking bluntly whether she and Peter had been together. Anna was confused and speechless. Jody smiled mysteriously and said Peter was special, and being chosen by him was an honor. After Jody left, Ben stopped by and told Anna that if she ever needed help, she could call for him. By now, Anna had begun feeling uneasy about the place and its people. She even asked for her weapons back, but Ben refused, assuring her the community was safe. That evening, Peter, Jody, and Ben met to finalize their decision. They would execute the cannibal the next day, despite Ben's objections. The following morning, Peter invited Anna to join a ritual. He led her to the water, performing a symbolic act meant to connect her with him and the group. Anna followed, unsure what to expect. But then Peter suddenly kissed her, leaving her uncomfortable and shaken. Without saying a word, she pulled away and hurried back to her cabin, her trust in him now beginning to fracture. The next day, the cannibal was brought out to be executed, his hands tightly bound. The moment his eyes met Anna's, he recognized her. She was the sister of the boy he had killed. Once everyone stepped back, Anna confronted him, demanding to know why he had murdered her brother. The cannibal calmly replied, "Your brother paid the price for stealing from our land." Enraged, Anna shouted that they were monsters who killed people just to survive. The cannibal fired back, saying, "And you're no different, you hide behind your god to justify deceiving others." He even begged to be set free, but Anna turned away and walked off in disgust. Jack, noticing her talking to the prisoner, asked what they had discussed. When she stayed silent, he told her not to take the cannibal's words seriously, assuring her she was safe here and could share in their community life. But that moment, Anna finally realized the truth: these people weren't what they seemed. They had darker intentions toward her. She rushed back to her room and began packing her things, ready to escape. Just then, Peter appeared. Furious and frightened, Anna demanded, "Why didn't you tell me the truth before?" Peter, disturbingly calm, replied, "I needed a partner, and you came into my life. I thought we could be together, start a relationship, and keep our bloodline alive." Anna recoiled, telling him clearly that she wanted nothing to do with him or his twisted community. Enraged, Peter grabbed her, trying to force her to stay, but before things escalated further, Ben burst in and pulled them apart. He immediately realized what Peter had been trying to do. Before anyone could process what had just happened, urgent news arrived. The cannibals group had discovered the community's location and was on their way to attack. Ben suggested handing over the captured cannibal to avoid bloodshed. Peter agreed, and they set out to deliver the prisoner back to his people. Anna was forced to go with them. Peter didn't trust her alone, fearing she'd run away. After trekking through the forest for hours, distant voices began echoing through the trees. The cannibal tribe had arrived. Within moments, chaos erupted. The tribe launched a violent assault, killing everyone in sight. Anna fought for her life, but when one of the attackers came at her, she froze at the sound of his voice. It was her brother, David. He had become one of them. Recognizing her, David pulled Anna aside and knocked her unconscious to keep her safe. When Anna awoke, she found herself hiding behind some rocks, watching as the cannibal tribe surrounded Ben, who had been captured. They demanded to know where David's sister was. David pretended not to know, insisting he had no idea where she had gone. Trying to protect him, Anna quietly picked up a gun and aimed it at the cannibal leader, shouting for them to let David go. But as she got closer, David snatched the gun from her hands. "I'm one of them now," he said quietly. "You should join us. We can live together like this." But Anna could see the truth in his eyes. He was only pretending. In a split second, David turned and shot the cannibal leader dead. Then he looked at Anna and yelled, "Go! Run now!" Anna refused at first, begging him to come with her, but David shook his head. "This is my life now. If I stay, I can protect you." Tears streaming down her face, Anna fled through the burning forest. When she finally reached the settlement, she found it in ruins. Peter stood amid the ashes, watching as the last remnants of his community burned. The cannibals had destroyed everything. Blaming Anna for all of it, Peter snapped. He lunged at her in rage, trying to overpower her once again. But this time, Anna wasn't helpless. She had a knife clutched tightly in her hand. For protection, she drove the knife into Peter's body. Peter writhed in agony and died on the spot. Anna couldn't even comprehend all the lengths she had to go just to survive. When she approached the burning remains of the community, everyone was dead. Jack's body was hanging above, and in front of her, Jody stood, apologizing to Anna for her behavior and helping lower Jack's corpse. Jody then told Anna that they would have to start anew. But Anna knew she could never stay in one place. She had to keep moving, a decision she had made from the very beginning. She also realized that in this world, trusting anyone was dangerous. Everyone only looked out for themselves. Where Anna's life would turn next was uncertain, but our story ends here.